Evening all, welcome back to the channel. We are the Brits decoding America with me, Milo, and Liz.
Okay.
Tonight we are going to watch We've Lost Dale Earnhardt, 25 years later, the NASCAR movie. It's about 45 minutes in total, so we're going to split this in half. We're going to watch half one tonight, half two tomorrow night, and we'll try and get them out one after the other as well. We've seen tons of comments about Dale being, you know, the greatest of all time, or one of the greats of all time of NASCAR, and sadly and tragically lost his life during a race. Beyond that, I don't know anything about Dale.
I'd never heard of him before we started looking into NASCAR. So
exactly, the comments is where
no
we've discovered Dale and the bits of information we know about him. So this is going to be a complete fresh for me.
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
Right.
Let's do it.
Let's give it a go. Here we go.
With 42 other cars and 500 miles to decide who will win the Daytona 500.
2001.
I'm driving for Team Penske.
My mom, my
Ross is
dad,
such a
myself,
good-
we were
Oh.
all there. I'm a rookie.
I'm not going to stop it a lot during this, but I think from the comments, Carl Busch is another driver that tragically or recently has passed away.
Yeah.
I think back in May I read in the comments. And again, a lot of people seem to have a lot of love for him. So I think after we've learned about Dale, we'll go and have a look at Carl Busch
It
as
looks
well.
like potentially that's his brother maybe as well.
Yeah, could be.
So he's obviously a racer.
Yeah. I suppose they're all family in and around the races, aren't they?
Yeah.
Sorry, we'll carry on.
Daytona 500.
Just being there, it was Christmas to me.
There was everything at stake.
I was 30 years old.
I was 8 years old.
Everyone remembers the day, no matter really what age you were.
Dale Earnhardt was one of the sports icons.
As a kid, he was the man in black.
He's got the strongest and thickest mustache.
Dale Earnhardt was
It's proper Smokey and the Bandit stuff. Like every man wants that kind of thick mustache.
Rough around the
Makes me think of
edges.
Tom Selleck.
Dale Earnhardt was
It's just manly, isn't it? It's just pure manly.
He had a cigar.
Yeah, yeah.
Will grace victory lane today. History, speed, excitement, it's all here for NASCAR's biggest race.
Not a typical Daytona 500. It felt as though that it was ratcheted up quite a bit.
This was Fox's first ever NASCAR race. This multi-billion-dollar commitment.
Where NASCAR was headed, it felt like we were bigger than the NFL, bigger than Major League Baseball and basketball.
Wow.
One to go. The last lap.
Michael Waltrip leading the race, and Dale Jr.'s in second, and Dale was right there as well. Dale's playing protector role, keeping the 2 DEI cars out front. It's the last lap. It's Daytona 500. Everybody's going for it.
Which car is he?
He's black car.
He's at the front.
No.
He's from the back.
The first thing crossed my mind was, oh man, he is going to be so mad.
He was the car that spun out. Man. That's it.
I guess he's all right, isn't he? And I could tell in Darrell Waltrip's voice that he was thinking the exact same thing that I was thinking. Dale's going to be okay, isn't he?
You know, they're fine. He's fine. The guy's superhuman. Like, he's going to come out of this thing, you know, no problem. By the time I got there, all the cars were down in the infield. When I drove by it, I kind of just looked over and the things that were happening. Like, there was something weird about turn 4 when I drove through there.
February 18th, 2001.
It didn't look like that big a smash, did it?
Divide date. You remember what life was like before that day, and you remember what life has been like after that day.
This is undoubtedly one of the toughest announcements that I've ever personally had to make. But after the accident in turn 4 at the end of the Daytona 500, we've lost Dale Earnhardt.
God. Like you say, it didn't even look like a particularly massive
No.
smash.
I first met Dale in '79. He left too quickly with the impression that he was just a simple person that was very fortunate to have a chance to drive a race car. He was a working man's hero. The blue-collar world or the working man world could relate to him and say, that's my guy. On the track, he didn't get the nickname Intimidator by being anything less than that.
Oh, and Earnhardt spins him out. Dale Earnhardt takes the checkered flag.
Off the racetrack, he was a real person. He enjoyed life and was lighthearted about things that he could be.
If you pull a black flag on me, you know what's going to happen, don't you?
I know you're going to move over, I hope.
No more Harold Kennedy.
I'm smiling. Wipe sweat off of you.
Wipe the sweat off of you, too.
I'm not sweating. I don't sweat. Never sweat.
And took everything else pretty serious. I would join Dale and take some pretty Mac Daddy trips through Europe or Japan. And those experiences, in a lot of cases, were mine and Dale Sr.'s first experience like that.
First time, the right-handed steering wheel. Something's wrong with this picture.
We'd go to some unique places and got to see some unique parts of the world. Our friendship was established before I became part of the government.
I'm pleased to announce today that I have named Mike Helton Chief Operating Officer of NASCAR.
We understood each other professionally and wouldn't let it get in the way personally. In February 2001, I was the president of NASCAR.
The #1 race, the Super Bowl, the Daytona 500.
It was kind of the launch of a new era for us. A lot of pomp and circumstance.
Start your engine! We're racing.
You knew the Daytona 500 finishes could be interesting. Then a lot of movement can go on in a 2.5-mile stretch between the white and the checkered.
All right, here we go now. This is when it's going to get tense, boys.
3 wide behind them. The 3-car down. Big trouble. Big wreck behind them.
Then we had to wreck in turn 4 and didn't think anything out of the ordinary. But then as the accident unfolded after the race was over with, you got the sense that it wasn't a normal accident. Obviously, there was a responsibility on NASCAR's side to talk about it. And we all kind of looked at each other and says, all right, somebody's got to go to the media center. And I'm not sure how I got the task of doing it, but I did. And talking it out, I just said that, well, how do you tell the world that we lost Dale Earnhardt today?
Just get a little bit of room. Thank you.
We okay with sound upstairs? And somebody said, that's how you do it.
After the accident in turn 4 at the end of the Daytona 500, we've lost Dale Earnhardt.
I see the clip and it doesn't, I don't know what I feel. It's almost surreal. It's almost as if it's not really me doing it. I knew what we did after the accident. I knew what we did the rest of the year. But that one moment that got captured is, I don't know how to explain when I see it other than the fact that it doesn't register as having been me that did that.
And it's his friend as
It
well.
must have been so hard. It's almost
I
like
was
the
doing
shock,
what I
isn't it?
needed to do on behalf of NASCAR.
Brave of him to do it.
But at no time did I ever separate the personal side of it from the professional side. I would speak professionally, but my heart would tell me that we lost Dale Earnhardt, but we all lost a really unique, special person.
And my leg's looking good.
I'm really glad that I had the personal relationship to fall back on and hurt from. Fans will come up to me and they'll say, I remember you having to announce the loss of Dale Earnhardt, and it gives me some comfort that Mike Helton and Dale Earnhardt even though it was such a tragic announcement, that we're connected. It would have been nice if it was for some other reason.
How old was he when he died? Do you know?
Don't know. He looks late 30s, 40s.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Chris Myers from just above Victory Lane here at the birthplace of NASCAR in Daytona. And NASCAR is born again as Fox Sports begins its coverage of the Winston Cup Series.
Dale looking very strong during Speed Weeks. Can you win your second 500 today?
Go see something you probably had never seen on Fox.
As a television producer, he was such a great story, always. He was a bigger-than-life, colorful character.
If you're in a room with 1,000 people, if he walked in the back door of the room without saying a word, we'd all turn around and look because he just changed the air.
He helped change the direction of NASCAR because he was so highly respected.
The first time I met Dale Earnhardt would have been 1996.
Earnhardt, when he started running, I was 16, so I met him then.
You'd heard about the Intimidator and the Man in Black and all those things, and so maybe you expected him to be as big as his statue is now. I was shocked that he wasn't actually 8.5 feet tall, but he certainly felt like that.
He was such a great bad guy, for lack of a better term. He was always mad at somebody, and somebody was always mad at him.
I give him the whole bottom lane, you knock the out of this way. They ought to find that son of a bitch, let make him sit out the rest of the year. I didn't run him in the wall or nothing, then he tried to wreck me out the caution there. I think he's a little upset.
He made spectacular television.
Make sure your fellow racer can see you coming. If it's Jeff Gordon, put the son of a bitch in the wall. I didn't say that.
Fox had never done any stock car racing at all. They hired me to do quite a bit of things because I was doing it for TNN and TBS, and you know, our budget for a race was maybe $300,000. Well, Fox was spending $3 million. It was a huge seminal change in NASCAR, and they came out in February of 2001 with the biggest event of the year.
I was the producer of Totally NASCAR, and I had received a call at the start of that week. The 7-time Winston Cup champion would like to be on your television show this week. Do you have any room for him on Friday? But Dale Earnhardt sat down, he looked right into the camera, and he said, "Congrats on the new job, don't f it up." And that was the last conversation I had with Dale Earnhardt. And then, of course, we all know what happened just a couple days later. I was so happy for Michael Waltrip. That was an amazing moment. But within maybe 10 minutes, my phone rang. And it was my boss, Patty Wheeler. She said, "I believe that Dale Earnhardt is dead. You need to get into the office."
I was bracing myself for all the sorrow to come, all the people who were going to be shocked, brokenhearted, and ruined almost from this.
By the time I made the 20-minute drive over to where we produced the show, Mike Helton was stepping to the podium. And it was like watching a movie when you know how it's going to end, but you're watching it in a room full of people that don't know yet.
We've lost Dale Earnhardt.
I felt really bad for Mike Helton to have to stand up there and tell the world.
Yeah.
And you could see just the heartbreak in his eyes, in his demeanor, and the cracking of his voice.
We've lost Dale Earnhardt. He said we, which was all of us. Whether you loved him or whether you hated him or whether you worked in NASCAR or whether you just were a fan, that's we. And then that word lost, it wasn't he's dead, it wasn't he's perished, it wasn't, you know, he died in an accident. Lost was the perfect word at the perfect time, because everyone was lost and they stayed lost for months, and I would argue in some cases for years. The sport had lost its anchor.
And NASCAR has lost its greatest driver ever. And I personally have lost a great friend. And that's Bill France's quote, and I think that pretty well sums it up for the NASCAR community right now.
Dale Earnhardt's death was the biggest news NASCAR had ever had. Earnhardt was on the cover of the San Francisco Chronicle, who really didn't even know how to spell NASCAR, right? New York Times, BBC, The Today Show, big broadcast television. It was the biggest thing I had ever seen.
It's funny she says BBC. Obviously, we were a bit young.
I was going to say, I have no recollection of it at all, but like you say, age-wise, we would have been a bit young. And
we would have been toddlers at the time.
Yeah, so we wouldn't have known.
Yeah, so I wonder how much coverage it did get over here.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't remember growing up that we ever had NASCAR on terrestrial TV. When it was 4 channels and 5 channels, we were growing up. Yeah, never.
No, I have no recollection of NASCAR as a child.
You would see it through American sitcoms and things. And
yes, they talk about it.
You know of NASCAR,
Yeah.
but yeah, we never got NASCAR.
No.
So I'd be interested to know how much coverage it got over here.
This was supposed to be one of the most important races in the history of NASCAR with the new network. It was all so perfect. And now it is the doomsday scenario. How are we going to do this? Rudderless is the term that I used a lot, that 2001, 2002 stretch. Everyone had lost their leader. Richard Childress Racing had lost, the man everything was built around. Fox Sports had lost the guy they were using to promote what was happening. Dale Earnhardt Incorporated lost the guy whose name was over the door. Everything at Dale Earnhardt Incorporated was built around one man.
Such a cool car.
When he died, the company was doomed. And I gave them credit for continuing to win and continuing to stay relevant.
Our main focus is to try and maintain and progress with the vision my father had with Dale Earnhardt Incorporated to the best of our ability.
But it was always a
That's your son was racing as well.
It's hard to explain to people now the entire sport went through one person, and it was a race car driver. Mike Helton had lost the guy that he could call and say, what is the garage thinking about this, and are we doing the right thing?
Well, first of all, we're racing at a big disadvantage with no spoilers and no surveillances. We're against everything else that's racing out there. When that NASCAR needs to do something, we can't have to drive the cars after the tires get worn.
If there was ever even the slightest bit of issue, you would see Dale Earnhardt walk straight into the NASCAR hauler. And no one else did that. He was going to go talk to Bill France Jr., or he was going to talk to Mike Helton. Jeff Gordon was not that guy. Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano are smart, but if they walk into the NASCAR hauler and say, this is what you should do, we'll take that under advisement. If Dale Earnhardt said that, they probably were going to do it. He was a singular personality.
Mr. President, we've got a little present here for you to take back. It's a flag that we've all signed.
Hey, that's great.
All our autographs are on it, so you don't have to go around and get autographs from us.
NASCAR television has not been the same since Earnhardt died, and I say that without any hyperbole at all. The fans, you either hated them or you loved them, but it brought out a tremendous amount of emotion. The kind of emotion I don't think that is still around.
Every fan standing as Dale Earnhardt has powered his way to the front.
I am stopped at the airport, at dinner, certainly at the racetrack, at college football games. I'm stopped all the time to this day and asked, how different would things be if Dale Earnhardt was still here? And they want to talk about the postseason format, and they want to talk about, the next-gen car. They want to talk about those things. And my answer is always, no. If Dale Earnhardt was still here, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, we'd go look at their Cup Series championship trophies in the lobby. He was only going to drive for a couple more years tops. And then he was going to be the boss. And probably doing TV and running the race team and the succession plan for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Checkered flag, Dale Earnhardt Jr., first-time Winston Cup winner.
I mean, it was all laid out. And I don't know how many wins they'd have, but I know they'd damn sure still be in business.
Well, that's them together.
Yeah, and he'd obviously won, hadn't he? His son.
And if he won the cup as well, so he was good as well.
Excuse me, who are you pulling for today? Oh, Dale Earnhardt. Without a doubt. Who are you pulling for today? Dale Earnhardt, of course.
He's just the best.
He's fantastic. Yes, we have a shrine for him at home.
Dale Earnhardt's a hero to everybody and always will.
Okay, everybody rolling? Whenever you're ready.
My first NASCAR race I went to was at Charlotte Motor Speedway when I was 7 or 8 years old. Dale Earnhardt was it. Everyone in the world, I think, knew who Dale Earnhardt was. He was a superhero, and never thought I'd have the opportunity to meet him. I was 15 years old. Malcolm in the Middle had premiered the previous year and was a really big success for Fox. And they asked me to be the Grand Marshal of the 2001 Daytona 500, which, as a race fan, you know, was such a cool experience.
He looks so little.
I just remember thinking that everything was just so much greater and grander and so much more energy than I'd ever felt for any sporting event. I'd been to the Golden Globes, I'd been to the Emmys, but there was nothing that felt like the energy of that afternoon.
I wonder if that's why he got into racing from this point.
Filming.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the show MTV Diary.
You think you know, but you have no idea. This is the Diary of Frankie Muniz, February 18, 2001.
One of the things I got to do, I went to the driver's meeting, and at the driver's meeting, I got to meet a lot of the drivers, and one of those was Dale Earnhardt. I don't get nervous meeting people, or I don't get like starstruck feeling, but he's the intimidator, and I was intimidated.
Just see you on TV, now you can watch us.
He was extremely friendly to me, and I remember he said, I have to say thank you to you. He's like, because your show has brought me and my daughter closer together. He's like, it's something that we turn on Sunday nights and we watch together. Another thing he told me was, you know, enjoy it. Enjoy the run, because you never know when it's gonna end. I was walking on the grid, he was about to climb in, and I was getting into the pace car. You know, I shook his hand. I was, besides his crew chief, probably one of the last people to talk to Dale Earnhardt the day he died.
Dale Earnhardt is the most prolific restrictor plate driver in NASCAR history. He's chasing his second 500 victory, looking to bookend what's been a legendary Daytona career.
We were up on the spotter stand.
The last lap. Here we go. 15 seconds left.
Big trouble. Big wreck behind them.
It didn't seem that bad. We watched, you know, the ambulance and everybody come over. Still, even in that moment, I don't remember thinking that there was anything necessarily wrong. We went back to the hotel, and my mom was actually down. There was a bar. I went up to my room, and there was breaking news, and it was the Mike Helton announcement.
We've lost Dale Earnhardt.
That was one of the most jaw-dropping, heartbreaking moments I've ever experienced in my life. I ran downstairs. The bar was full of people, full of fans, and I ended up announcing it to everybody. The bar went silent. Like, it was such an eerie feeling, meeting like a hero, and that hero was gone. There's a lot of things in my life that people bring up or I see video of, and I can't even remember being there. That is a day that I will never forget.
Yeah, I'll bet.
It was the highest of highs and then also the lowest of lows. Maybe I talked to him for a total of 3 minutes, right? That's weird that I said 3. I didn't think of that. But a very impactful 3 minutes, especially where my life ended up going. That was an integral part of finding the passion for the sport. I knew that I would give up everything to try to be a part of the magic that is NASCAR that he helped build. When I was entering into the racing world and I was going to be making my Daytona debut, the chassis that I drove was actually Sterling Marlin's chassis from that race. It was the universe telling me I was exactly where I was supposed to be. I've never really talked about this out loud, so like I'm speaking, you know, what's truly in my mind. I couldn't help every time that I drove through turn 4, looking up at the wall where I know he hit.
Yeah,
Oh, that must feel weird.
Frankie Muniz has done.
I mean,
that's awesome that his legacy is living on, not just through his son, but through so many others, though, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Through so many that he touched and inspired. This is, you know.
He said this
Fantastic.
moment means something. He's taking all of it in.
You're just so focused on getting in front of the guy in front of you. I remember thinking, like, the feeling that I was having, that emotion that I was having in that moment, was the last thing that he did. He wanted to beat every single person, and it's changed my mentality when I'm in the race car to race every single lap at my absolute best. It took, you know, seeing how Dale drove to realize that, like, you've got to give it 100%. You only have the opportunity right then when you're in the car, and you don't want to look back with any regret. It goes back to what he told me the day I met him, you know, enjoy the ride, you never know what's going to end. It says everything. The fact that I got 3 minutes with him, but those 3 minutes I will remember forever. And they literally help shape the person I want to be, right? I don't know where I'd be. Maybe I'm not a NASCAR driver now. And I'm not just saying that because we're doing this. I use that advice in my day-to-day with anything I'm doing. I try to live my life to the fullest.
Just have fun, because you never know when it's gonna end. You really don't.
I'm going to pause it there. It seems like a good break spot.
Yeah.
We're sort of halfway through
Yeah.
that, so we'll take a break on that, I think. And as I said, we're going to split this into 2 parts.
Yeah.
That's part 1. We'll take a break there. It's heavy stuff.
I feel very sort of mix of.
Just melancholy.
I
go on.
I sort of feel a bit, from how he was talking, Frankie, just then, that he knows that that's where he died, in that, you know, coming around that corner, that part.
Looking up at the bend.
And yet he still wants to be on that track and still do that. I find that hard to get my head around, because I think it would potentially do the opposite to me. But then I suppose if that's your hero, and he's been there, so I'm a bit sort of.
And I bet the same is true for his son as well. If his son,
that's what I
because his
mean.
son carried on racing,
Yeah.
I guess, and he must. You know, it's the Daytona track. They're definitely there every single year, every single event for it. It must be very difficult for him to come through that bend, knowing that that's where it happened.
Where his dad.
But
because we still obviously don't know. For us, we still don't really know what happened.
Well,
fully
no, it wasn't
yet.
a very big crash.
Whether that will be
from
explained.
what we've looked at,
That's what I mean. Whether it will be explained
in the second half.
In the second part, but we don't even really know what's happened yet. But also, I find it difficult to get my head around, because we weren't really aware of NASCAR at that point when he was around. It's hard to understand how much of a hero he was to everybody at that point.
Yeah.
Because we've not really. I mean, I've not heard of him before.
No. When I look at him, to me, he is America's man.
That's what they were saying, wasn't he? He's just a regular guy.
Yeah. He's like... He's just a manly guy, isn't he? He's a manly American guy. When you think of, like they said, that blue-collar, hard-working American guy, the sort of modern cowboy, if you will, he's it to a T.
Yeah.
He's the modern Marlboro man, isn't he, of his time? So it's...
Someone you can relate to.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Identify with.
I definitely think so. He's sort of everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah.
He does seem like a cool guy.
But then it was interesting that they say, isn't it, whether you loved him or hated him? Because if he had this sort of bad persona of like the intimidator, there probably would have been some that.
I'm guessing there were some feuds with other drivers and things like that. Especially after the NASCAR video we watched
Yes.
Last week of
But
the.
I should imagine, regardless of that, like they were saying, a lot of respect for him.
Yeah, I bet a lot of people may have had road rage for Dale Earnhardt, but wouldn't dare get into that conversation with him.
No.
So.
No, so it'll be interesting to see more in the second half.
Stick with us. We're going to carry on for the second half, and we'll see you again then for that.
See you for that one.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
See you later.